Okay, Thursday, 18th of July, 2024. So be aware of self-evident things. So this is an interesting video that has been on my list for a while and has been thinking how to articulate it exactly, what to say exactly. So one, in life, we have to be aware of and understand when we see something self-evident. Fire is hot, water is wet, people breathe air, the sky is blue. These self-evident things we have to be aware of, but also at the same time, we need to develop the intellectual reservoir, the knowledge, to know when we come across something else in life, that it, no matter how obscure or unique or specific or technical it is, it itself is self-evident. Something specific or random out there in the world, or we're in a restaurant, therefore, if so facto, ergo, we're hungry. It's being aware of these things, having the mental capacity to recognize when we see things that are self-evident, but then also having being wise enough to then not need to ask if it is the question, ask if it is a thing. If someone's in a restaurant, oh, are you hungry? It's self-evident. The mere fact of physically being in a restaurant is a proxy, is a way of determining something by looking at a third party, something else, that they are indeed hungry. It's being able to recognize that, developing the mental and societal wherewithal to recognize when something is self-evident, and then not mentioning or not talking about it because it's self-evident. Now, of course, even then, within reason, there are caveats and more nuances to life where someone could be in a restaurant but not necessarily hungry. They could be picking up a delivery, they could be working there, things like that. There are nuances, and then it's a fine balance of being asking a question that is itself self-evident or might likely be self-evident, but you're asking for clarification, to prove something, to understand something, not because you don't know, not because you can't figure it out. So that's quite important, because I've subtly noticed that when you ask these self-evident questions, your social position ever so slightly diminishes. I remember one time at university, I can't remember the details, but I remember someone saying to me not to ask questions that were so obvious. Now, back then, I wasn't asking because I didn't know what the answer was. It was more because I wanted them to confirm it. Otherwise, it's almost speculation on my behalf. I want them to confirm it so that I know for certain, without any shadow of a doubt, that this or my hypothesis or my idea is correct, is how I'm interpreting it. That there's a fine line between what colour is the sky, is it hot outside, what time of day is it, versus in 1 hour, what will the time be, or how long we got left until 2 p.m, things like that. These nuances, more specific things like that. And even then, sometimes, again, we're asking questions not because we don't know the answer, we can reason the answer, again, that deep reservoir of knowledge, but we want from their point of view, from someone's point of view. And you have to be subtly careful with that as well, because I'll ask people questions, again, not because I don't know the answer, but because I want to hear their reasoning, their logic, how they came to that conclusion. I want to see their working out. And people might misconstrue that to think, oh, this person doesn't understand, or this person, it's self-evident, oh, this person doesn't quite recognize what's going on or the situation, things like that. So we have to be careful with self-evident things, to recognize self-evident things in life. The sky is blue, fire is hot, we breathe air, but then have the deep reservoir, the knowledge to be able to reason away and understand and come to our own conclusion and answer when we come across something that might not, may or may not be self-evident. Again, because it affects our social standing. And if we go around asking silly, nonsensical questions, and the answer is self-evident, our social standing decreases. People don't take us as seriously. People say that it takes 10, 20 years to be an overnight success. It takes 10, 20 years to build a reputation, and takes 10, 20 seconds to destroy it. Well, the same is with respect and other things out there as well that have yet to be enumerated and talked about. Respect can be lost and diminished away, chipped away even, by asking self-evident questions What colour is the sky? For example, where you can turn your head and you can figure out the answer for yourself. Is it hot today outside? Oh, maybe it is. Oh, I didn't realise. Things like that. By asking those questions, it diminishes our social standing. People take us less seriously. Oh, yeah, he'll talk and whatever else. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. We don't listen to him. We just, respect has been lost, hit terminal velocity, and then just diminished by itself automatically until it reaches a plateau of tolerance where there's a bearable amount of tolerance to just care, just not tell the person to leave or just to exit and leave their presence, things like that. That situation, when you think about it and you follow that logic, it can alienate you. And this is kind of going into the realms of careful how you handle yourself and how you present yourself in public. And one of them will be asking silly, nonsensical questions. It's fine to understand, to ask, to find their logic, to figure their reasoning. That's fine. But even then you could say, we have to position it in a different way. So that's why I, interestingly, quite like to ask loaded questions. What do you think about this? How often do you do that? When will you do this? When are you going to do that again? When did you last go to? Asking those questions, because then it has a built-in presumption that the person then has to challenge and tackle head on. Oh, I've never been there. Oh, I don't know. I've never tried that. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, what is it all about? Things like that. Loaded questions with a premise built in. That's quite powerful. But yeah, that's something I wanted to discuss. Be careful of self-evident stuff in life. Recognize what's self-evident, have the reservoir, and then with that reservoir knowledge, be able to recognize more nuanced things in life and when it is self-evident. Very important. But otherwise, you will see me tomorrow.